Just coming into a comfortable seat, and we're going to quiet the body and quiet the mind for a few minutes before we move into the asana practice. So, finding a comfortable way to sit, whether that's cross-legged or hero pose, or even just sitting with your legs straight out in front of you. So my hips are pretty tight this morning, so I'm going to put my blocks under here. So let's just lengthen the spine. Think about moving the tailbone toward the floor, and drop the shoulders down away from the ears. Pull the chin slightly back. You'll feel the back of the neck lengthen. Take a big breath in, reach the arms overhead. And exhale, bring the hands down through prayer. And then find a comfortable way to rest your hands, either cupping them in your lap or resting them on your knees. Just find what's comfortable for you. And again, drop the shoulders down and close the eyes. And we'll just settle here for a minute or so, just becoming fully present to right here, right now. Feeling yourself in your body. And then take your awareness to your breath and follow it as it enters through the nostrils, down the throat, into the chest, and all the way down into the belly. And then follow it back out from the belly, through the chest, back up the throat, and out the nose. Taking a moment here to bring to mind things for which we're grateful. And bringing hands to heart center, perhaps setting an intention for your practice today. Something you would like to focus on, or remember, or cultivate. And as you're ready, keeping that peaceful state of mind, let's slowly move into our first posture, which is going to be Baddha Konasana. So I'm going to give you a couple of Baddha Konasana forward fold. Give you a couple of options here. And first of all, I'm going to come off my blanket that's set up for meditation and unfold it. So we have just a little lift for the hips. So for Baddha Konasana today, right, this is Yin Baddha Konasana. So we're not trying to get the feet all the way up into the groin. We want a nice wide shape. And so you can use your blocks in two ways. One is if, like me, your hips are pretty tight today and your knees are up high, you can use these blocks to support you. The other way you can do is, and this works well too if your hips are tight also, take your block, put it the low way in front of you, and bring your feet up on the block. So what this does is it brings the feet up to the more toward the level of the knees, and so that forward fold is a little bit softer. There's not quite as much of an angle to the forward fold. So find whichever way works better for you. And we're going to be here for, say, 3 minutes. We're going to do a lot of work on the hips today, a little bit of shoulder work, but mostly going to focus on the hips. So find your shape, and here we go for 3 minutes. Just let the head and neck relax. Let your torso fold forward between your thighs. Remember to keep your shoulders moving down the back. And there's no forcing here. We find that edge. We relax into it. And we just let the body open naturally. Remember to keep the breath in and out through the nose as much as possible. Notice if there's any clenching in your jaw. Relax your face and your eyes. Smoothing out the breath. Just another 30 seconds. So very slowly, bringing yourself back up, pressing your hands into the floor to bring the torso up. You can use your hands to bring your knees together, and if you've got your feet on the block, step them off. And we're going to come into child's pose. So knees on the blanket. And your yogi's choice, wide or knees together, whichever feels better. And sinking the hips back toward the heels. And then reaching the arms long in front. You might want to grab a block and place your forehead on the block. And we'll settle in here. So we're going to take this in neutral position like this, forward, and then we're going to shift over to the right and then over to the left. So first just taking this as a counter pose to the forward fold. Mostly because it's not really a counter pose, but it's a more supported version where it really focuses on the low back. And here's a great place to focus on the breath. Got the belly just softly moving in and out. Jaw relaxed, shoulders relaxed. And now very slowly and gently, if you're using the block, can drag it toward the right. Take your arms over to the right. And just come into a little bit of a side opening for the left side of the body. Try to keep the hips low, yearning toward the heels. And close the eyes here. Take a body scan. If the knees start to bother you, you can always lift the hips a little bit or just come up and out of it for a few breaths and then go back down. But trying to stay present, not when the mind wanders, just noticing and bringing the awareness back to the breath. And feel the ribs on the left side open and expand on the inhale, contracting on the exhale. And then let's slowly make our way over to the other side, coming through center. Taking the block with us for our little forehead pillow, and arms over to the left. Shifting that opening to the right side of the body. Again, noticing if the jaw is tight or if your breath feels choppy, just slow it down. Follow it from the nose, down the throat, through the chest, into the belly. And let's slowly make our way back to center. And moving mindfully into tabletop. I'm going to move the blanket up for thread the needle. So I like to have the blanket at the top of the mat so it supports my head and shoulder. So let's just take a couple cat-cows first. Inhale to drop the belly and lift the tailbone, lift the gaze. And exhale, tuck tailbone, round the upper back, broaden across the shoulders, drop the chin to the chest. Inhale again, lift the tailbone, drop the belly. Heart shines forward, gaze to the horizon. And exhale, round. Coming into a neutral spine. Take the right arm, sweep it out to the side. Take a nice big opening here. And then as you exhale, thread the needle. Arm goes underneath, through, and across, bringing the shoulder, the right shoulder, and the right side of the head down to the mat. So lots of options here for where to place your your left hand. But first of all, just check in with your hips. Make sure your hips are level. So you can take your hand to your low back. And notice, does one hip feel lower than the other? And just kind of adjust there first. And then you can actually leave the arm back there, if that feels good, or you can place the palms together, or you can reach the left arm forward in any way that feels good for you, out to the side, overhead. So if you bring it overhead, you're going to feel the stretch in the back of the left shoulder. If it's behind you, you're going to feel the opening in the front of the left shoulder. So it just depends how your body feels today and what you're craving. And we'll be here for about 3 minutes. So settle in, find a rhythm for your breath. And notice the stillness. It's really quite a luxury to take this time to just slow down, calm the nervous system, and we're in a state of being. Yes, we're doing yoga, but we're more noticing being in the shape rather than doing the shape. It's about another minute here. You can make any adjustments. Change the position of your left arm if you like. And start to bring your left hand down to the floor and pressing down, slowly coming back up. Bring the right arm out, sweep it out to the side again, opening up. And then let's take a little puppy pose here to put the shoulders back into neutral. So keep the hips high, reach the arms forward, bring the hairline to the mat. And just reset here for a few breaths. And then bring the hands toward the body and press yourself up to tabletop. And we'll set up for thread the needle on the other side. So neutral spine. The left arm reaches out to the side. We turn the torso to the left, opening up. And then slowly bring the left arm across the body, underneath the right arm. Slide it on the floor as far away as feels comfortable for you. Get that left shoulder just where you want it, side of the head to the mat. And now this side, again, find where your right arm is going to be comfortable. Overhead, behind your low back. And we'll take 3 minutes here. One of the things I really like about Yin is we can do most of the practice with our eyes closed. We need to use our sight, obviously, in transition, but once we're in a shape, we can just close the eyes, and it just keeps the focus on our interior world. You really get to check in with how we're feeling. And again, just enjoying the state of being. About another minute left, so if you want to change your arm position in any way, you can do that now, or continue to stay right where you are. And let's bring the right hand down. And pressing the body back up into tabletop, sliding the left arm across the body, sweep it out to the side, open, and then return to puppy pose. Keeping the hips lifted, arms go long in front of you overhead, and the hairline to the mats. And that way the neck is not jammed. And just take a few breaths here. Good. All right, let's slowly make our way up. And we're going to come into a lunge or low lunge or lizard pose, whichever feels better for you today. So you can pad your knees and have your blocks on either side. So placing your hands on the blocks, your knees are right under your hips. We're going to pick up the left foot, bring it forward, and we want to heel toe it forward so that when we bring our torso forward, coming into low lunge here with the knee down, that the knee is over the ankle. We don't want the knee going past the ankle, so adjust yourself there. And the blocks are here to support you. If it's more comfortable, you can bring your torso up and rest your forearms on your thigh. This really depends on your hip flexibility and mostly in the hip flexors. Or if you're very flexible and you'd rather have your blocks on the inside, and then you can bring your forearms down. So this is more of a lizard shape. So find your hip opener here. So this is working the right hip flexor. And you're getting some compression in that left hip, so of course getting some lubrication there. And I think we'll take this one I'll start with 3 minutes, but we may go beyond that. We'll just see. The quads and the glutes are such big muscles that I think taking 4 minutes in these shapes might be a little bit better. And you can always shift your hips back if you're getting a bit fatigued. And depending how you're using your blocks, remember you can always adjust them downward as your body opens up a little bit more. So your back foot can be the top of the foot to the mat, or you can have your toes to the mat if that makes you more comfortable. But I think generally having the foot down creates a little bit more stability. And here it's okay if your knee is not directly over your ankle. That hip can open out to the side just a little bit. We don't want to force the knee open, but we don't want to necessarily be efforting to keep it in either. So that's about halfway through 3 minutes. And we'll just see where we are. So all right, so we'll just take 3 minutes here, another 30 seconds. All right, so bringing the torso up and shifting the hips back. Let's come down onto take a seat. We will get to the other side in lunge, but for right now, take your right leg long and bring your left foot somewhere along the inside of that right leg for Janu Sirsasana. You can have blocks here to make a little rest for your forehead. Or you can simply keep your hands on either side of the extended leg. Just let your foot relax. Doesn't have to be flexed. And if your knee is up in the air and it needs a little support, you can use a block there or slide your blanket underneath just for a little support. And we'll be 3 minutes here. So sometimes we start in one way with either the head on the blocks or not, and then you might find you want to change that. So as long as the lower body is still, you're allowing the upper body to descend as gravity and your body allow. You can just let the chin fall to the chest here. If your head is not supported on the blocks, just let your belly be soft. About another minute. And placing the hands on the floor and pressing down to come back up. Let's take a little reset here. Bringing the hands behind, feet to the floor, knees wide, and just gently windshield wiper side to side. Good. All right, let's take that lunge on the other side. So take your blanket under your knees. Knees maybe a little bit wider than hip width. You can have your blocks at the top of the mat for your hands. And which side did we do? We did the left. So bring your right foot forward. And heel toe that foot forward, keeping that distance between the hip, the legs, so you've got space for the hips to fall down in between. Do try to align your toes directly in line with your heel, so the foot stays in alignment. And then let the hips fall forward, feeling that opening in the left hip flexor. Again, you can bring the torso up and rest your forearms on the thigh. You can use the blocks for your hands, or you can bring them to the inside. Sort of like lizard. With lizard, we usually roll the foot out to the side. And we're just going to keep the knee up, aligned with the ankle. But again, if it falls open a little bit, that's okay. And 3 minutes here. So as you settle in, notice, are you gripping anywhere? We have a tendency here to engage the glutes, which don't really need to be helping here. They should be relaxing. The shoulders down away from the ears. And just find a way that's comfortable for your head and neck. Just kind of finding a neutral position. And again, you can close your eyes here. Bring your awareness to your interior landscape, to the breath. Check in with this side, with the hip and the hip flexor. Notice the difference in the sides. I'm going to take a little sip of water here. And then again, you can return to gratitude. Remembering all the blessings in our lives. The human mind is wired to and inclined toward negative thinking, negative thoughts, which is a good thing to know, because that may be the case, but we also have the ability, when we have the awareness, right, that we're thinking negative thoughts and, gee, this isn't helpful, or why am I so grumpy? Well, just take those thoughts in a different direction. We can derail that train and put it in a better direction. It's not to say we want to live with rose-colored glasses either, but I do believe we largely create our own reality. All right, 3 minutes on that side, so Coming back up. And shifting the hips back. Coming all the way down to seated. And we'll take Janu Shirshasana on the other side. So this time, I didn't put the blanket under last time, and I noticed it was a little more challenging. So sitting up on that blanket, left leg extended, right foot somewhere along the inside of that left leg. Starting with the torso upright and then turning toward the left foot. And then just start to hinge forward. Maybe placing the forehead on your block tower. Maybe using a block to support the knee, and then just maybe tenting the fingers on either side of the leg and folding forward. You can also just place the hands on the shin or the thigh. And once you find that shape, just commit to it for the next 3 minutes. And maybe turn the corners of the mouth into a little smile. Turn the corners of the eyes into a little smile. And with each exhale, imagining you're falling a little bit deeper into the shape. You may not, but just imagine, feel gravity working on us, with us, for us. If your knee starts to bother you in this shape, then you want to decrease or increase the angle by moving the foot down toward the ankle, the right foot down toward the left ankle. About another minute here. All right. Hands to the floor, pressing down to gently come back up. Take the blocks to the one end of the mat, and feet wide, windshield wiper the knees. Good. All right, so we're going to come into our last shape here before Shavasana, I think. Yeah. We're going to do supported either fish or Baddha Konasana. So I'm going to give you lots of choices here. So for the support, you can use the blocks as we normally do. One on the low way, the wide way for the shoulders, and then one on the tall way for the head. If you have a bolster, you can take both blocks on the tall way, prop your bolster up like this, and then lean into it this way, which is quite cozy. Or you can take your rolled up blanket and use it down the center of the spine. So whatever choice is going to work best for you today based on what you have for props and where your body's feeling today. I think I'm going to use the blocks. So we know we want to position ourselves so that we find the block on the low way across and between the shoulders, right at the bra line. And then the other block, we kind of take it in our hands and adjust it until we find that place where the head feels comfortable. So now with the lower body, you can bring your feet together in Baddha Konasana and move the feet forward and back to find just where the hips feel good and open. You can take the feet wide to the mat, let the knees drop together in constructive rest. Or you can take the legs out long and be in supported fish. Whichever way you're positioned, you want your arms to be in a comfortable way as well. So either hands on the mat, toward at the side of the body. You can bring them out to the side. You can turn the palms to the ceiling. So lots of choices. Find your comfortable shape. And we'll be here for 3 minutes. So here you might take a body scan, noticing the effects of our practice so far. I can really feel the energy in my hips, doing all those hip openers. I also notice that my RPMs have dropped a few levels. I'm just slowing everything down, being more present. I think it's easier to access gratitude and loving kindness and humility when we're in that more receiving, receptive, opening awareness. Instead of grasping and wanting and producing, just nurturing ourselves in this yogic tradition. There's a reason these practices have survived through the ages. Just a few more breaths. All right, and since we're here, we'll just remove the props. You can roll over to the side to move the block from underneath your shoulders, or if you're on your bolster, undo that. And coming down, let's just hug the knees in first before we go to Shavasana. Just rock side to side, or take a happy baby. Maybe bring the knees up and take some little circles, massaging the sacrum. And then when you're ready, bringing the feet down. Arms out by your side, palms towards the sky, feet separated, falling open. Maybe pick up the head, tuck the chin to the chest, lengthen the back of the neck, and enjoy your Shavasana. I'm going to make my way to seated. You stay right where you are. Allowing your body to completely surrender and be supported. Our reading for today, uncover your creative self. Within each of us, there is a creative self. This creative self can take many different forms because creativity is a quality that can be cultivated, not an inborn trait that only certain people possess. To uncover your creativity, ask yourself, where do I desire creativity in my life? Do I want to be innovative in my job or at home? Do I wish to uncover my creative self through writing, music, art, or my yoga practice? First, become aware of what you are already doing creatively. Then brainstorm as many different and unexpected choices for creativity that you can come up with. Open yourself to experimentation, and through trial and error, let your creative self emerge and develop. And invite your breath to deepen. Begin to move in whatever way feels natural and good to you. Maybe rock the head side to side. When you're ready, take a big stretch, arms overhead, legs out long. And as you exhale, hug the knees into the chest. Again, rocking side to side. And then dropping the knees over to one side. Slowly make your way back to a comfortable seat. And bringing hands to heart center. Thank you so much for practicing with me today. Always a joy to be with my people. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Peace, peace, peace. Thumbs to third eye. Let's bow to one another as we say namaste. All right, friends, namaste. Have a lovely, try to maintain that peaceful way throughout the day.